Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Luke Beller, and this morning I was thinking to myself, trying to figure out, what do I want to talk about today's video? Because that's usually, how I start my day, sitting around thinking, is there some Packers news I can break down? Is there some thought I have? Is there something, I can just talk about to put onto the YouTube channel today? So this morning I was sitting thinking, and just personally to myself, I was like, what could the Packers do to get to the Super Bowl? Because the past couple of seasons, we've seen them not get to the Super Bowl. We've seen them get to the NFC Championship in the past two seasons, and I was just thinking to myself, is there something like specific they could do to get over the hump? And first off, I was taking a look back, thinking in my mind about that NFC Championship game. I guess it was almost like 2 years ago now, maybe a year ago, I guess. That one against the San Francisco 49ers. So in that one, we all know we lost because Raheem Mostert went off, 29 carries, 220 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So coming into 2020, everyone's like, okay, we have to fix our run defense. Our run defense was a big problem, and it definitely was, as we saw in that NFC Championship game. And in the 2020 season, we definitely struggled at times when it came to the run. But coming into the NFC Championship game versus that Buccaneers team, it wasn't the run that we really had a tough time stopping in that game. We held Leonard Fournette to 55 yards in that game rushing, and he was the leading rusher. So, the same problem didn't come back to bite us in the NFC Championship game. And I feel like if Leonard Fournette had gone off for like 200 yards in that one, we'd probably be feeling much worse. Because that was a pretty close game. And so the running defense wasn't really our downfall in the NFC Championship game. So then I was thinking to myself, what was our downfall? Is there one little thing that, we could point to that maybe if the Packers solved that one problem, we could potentially, get back to the Super Bowl coming into 2021? First off, taking a look at Aaron Rodgers. He got sacked 5 times in that game, gets pressured 15 times. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe we should, add some kind of offensive tackle. We've already lost Rick Wagner. And, David Bakhtiari is going to be injured for a little while, so maybe that's the problem. And so I was just sort of going through these different things in my head, trying to figure out, what went wrong in both seasons, and if there's something we can do to sort of fix that problem. Obviously, I'm not a GM, you're not a GM, but this is sort of my take on, if I were the Packers GM, the moves, if I had to make some moves, what would I do? So obviously this is just my personal opinion. I think we all have opinions, and lots of times, they may not end up turning out right. Sometimes they do. Who knows? But we all have takes on different situations. So this is my take on what I think the Packers could do to maybe get to the Super Bowl. And as always, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below too. Like what you guys think the biggest moves the Packers, need to make to return to the Super Bowl, or get to the Super Bowl, not return, in the 2021 season. So first off, this is in no particular order. I have 4 different things that I sort of broke down personally. So first off, I think the Packers need to get a number 2 receiver to pair alongside Davante Adams. So with this entire receiver topic, last season with the Packers potentially needing a receiver, we didn't really add one. We didn't really necessarily need one. And I think at first for me personally, I was sort of in the boat of like, we don't need to add any receivers. We're one of the best scoring defense, or one of the best scoring offenses in the NFL without, coming in and adding a receiver. Allen Lazard and Marcus Valdes-Scantling got the job done. And while I do think that we don't necessarily need one, I've slowly almost moved to the other side of thinking the Packers do need to come in and find some other weapon better than Allen Lazard, better than Marcus Valdes-Scantling. Because taking a look at the past couple seasons, Aaron Rodgers has not had a top 50 wide receiver outside of Davante Adams in the past 4 years, and that's according to PFF. So last year, Allen Lazard was ranked 50th according to PFF, and Marcus Valdes-Scantling was ranked 111th. And while they definitely get the job done at times, and I love them as players, I love watching them play, I do think we need to come in and add a wide receiver, whether that's in the draft. Lots of people have told me that they think there's lots of depth in this draft, so maybe the Packers don't need to spend like a first-round pick on a receiver. Maybe, second, third, fourth round, there could be a guy potentially there to come in to pair alongside Davante Adams and, really help Aaron Rodgers out, give him another solid weapon on this Packers offense. So I definitely think there's, lots of different ways the Packers could add a receiver, maybe free agency, maybe that's a possibility. With the Packers cap situation, who knows what's going to happen or if that's even possible. But that's sort of my first thought on what I think could really take this Packers offense over the top. So the second thing I think the Packers need to focus on, and the move they need to make, which I think lots of you guys would probably agree, I've seen lots of you guys say this in the comments, the Packers need to get another solid cornerback outside of Jaire Alexander. Because we all know Jaire Alexander was a beast, probably the best cornerback in the NFL. Outside of him, though, we have Chandon Sullivan, who's not great. He's okay at times. Kevin King, who really struggled in the 2020 season. And outside of those guys, we just don't have much depth at the cornerback position. And I think that whether that's coming into the first round, drafting a cornerback, I would honestly like to see that. Or if it's finding someone potentially in free agency, if the Packers, had the money to do that, I think that can make lots of sense. Because we saw Kevin King get burned in that NFC Championship game, and that could have been, if we had another number 2 cornerback out there, a guy playing great in that game, maybe that's a difference in the Packers making it to the Super Bowl. So I definitely think the Packers should come out, find a cornerback, whether that's free agency, whether that's a draft. That's my second point, the second move I think the Packers need to make coming into 2021. And the third thing I was thinking about, so taking a look at this Packers pass rush. We have, Za'Darius Smith has been a beast. Preston Smith struggled a little in 2020. Maybe he comes back, maybe he doesn't. Rashawn Gary took a step forward. And so I think we're pretty much set on the edge for now. But if Preston Smith does potentially end up leaving, I think we will need to add some, maybe some more depth at the edge. But I do think we definitely need to find a guy to pair alongside Kenny Clark in the middle. And I think with J.J. Watt, being in a name out there right now in free agency, I think that would be like a best case scenario. If the Packers could, get a team-friendly deal out of that one. I don't know if that'll happen just because the Packers aren't a team that have much of cap space left. And J.J. Watt, I feel like is going to pick a team that has the potential to make the Super Bowl and can pay him a bunch of money, because why would he not, pick the best of both worlds? And so I don't see him coming to Green Bay, but if he did somehow, I would just be overjoyed. I do think there's one promising guy on this Packers roster on the interior, and that's Kingsley Keke. He definitely took a little bit of a step forward in the 2020 season. I see no reason he couldn't, continue to improve coming into year number 3. Taking a look at his PFF grade, he was 31st in pass rush grade, but he was 78th when it came to run defense. So he was pretty good when it came to rushing the passer, stopping the run, and not so much. So I think if the Packers could find someone, the best of both worlds, sort of like Kenny Clark, a guy who can rush a passer, a guy who can stop the run. Imagine paying him alongside Kenny Clark. I do think that could be a move that, could make this Packers defense that much more dangerous. Maybe a guy in the draft, maybe in free agency, just as all these, possible moves. There's lots of different ways I think the Packers could make it happen. So then the final thing, the final point, the final move I think the Packers need to make or could make coming into 2021, and that's on our offensive line. We need to find another offensive tackle, especially now with Rick Wagner being released. I think it makes that need, that much more important. David Bakhtiari, we all know, got injured. He could be missing who knows how much time in the 2021 season. So we have Billy Turner, and now outside of Billy Turner, we just don't really have much. So you'd have to expect, that would be a priority, potentially coming to the draft, potentially in free agency. I just think that's definitely a need. We need to protect Aaron Rodgers. If we're not protecting Aaron Rodgers, then this Packers offense is going to have a tough time. Because the thing is, with Aaron Rodgers getting up there in age right now, obviously when you're older, it's a lot easier to get injured. And so if Aaron Rodgers is taking hits as he gets older, he's not going to be able to play as much. And if he ever goes down with an injury, this Packers offense is definitely going to struggle. So I feel like the tackle, especially now with Rick Wagner gone, has to be, a major priority for this Packers team coming into the 2021 season. But those are my thoughts on what I think the Packers need to do to, make this Super Bowl in this 2021 season. I know you guys probably have similar opinions. Some of you guys may have different opinions, and I'd love to hear what those are in the comments down below, because lots of times, honestly, in the comments, you guys share things, make me think a different way. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, remember to hit that like button down below, and you want to see some more Packers content, make sure you subscribe and turn on those post notifications. But that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.